Hello and welcome to the Philippines. I'm here in IT Park in Cebu City, Lahug, Cebu City, Cebu, the Philippines. It's a big business park, basically, almost a city within a city. And I caught a hobble, a motorbike taxi today on my way home over to Mandaue City. I think he quoted me 70 pesos, which would be about $1.40 US cents. Anyway, that's a big new Ayala Mall going up there. They have, I think, a kind of a combination right here. Ayala Mall, a new hotel, uh, and some commercial buildings for call centers and offices to go into, I believe. I believe IT Park is owned and managed by Ayala, and they're involved in not only shopping centers but also many developments, condominiums. They have Avida condominiums here. They have two original towers, and they're building several new towers just off to the left here, and they're starting to occupy those as well. Those are just ahead of us, the tall buildings there, Avida Reala, something like that. And they will, if they haven't already, start opening up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of more condominiums. I'm not sure what the total number is, but it has to be many hundreds in the two or three additional towers there. You also have 38th Park Avenue, a very high-end condominium project going in there, and I've done a video about that as well. This is taking us out to the main road. Got a couple, I think about 3 or 4 different entrances to get in here from the 2 different sides, and no left turn here. So what everybody does, they make a right turn and go down here until they get a break in traffic, and then they usually do a U-turn. And if I remember right, I think we did that. If I remember correctly, I think we did make a U-turn. Yes, all right. And I was wondering when he was going to make that U-turn, but he waited until he had a big gap in the traffic. That happens many places. There's no left turn, no left turn lanes, and there's no left turn allowed. So people make a right turn, go down the road just a bit, make a U-turn, and they are putting some barriers in some areas to try to keep people from doing that, but people just go a little further down the road then and make that U-turn at another spot. Now we're going back, we're going to go past, over on the left-hand side is a smaller older mall, Gaisano Country Mall, and has many things, has a pretty big food market there. I have found a few things in their grocery department that I have not found in other places. Some of their items are less expensive. It's like everything, you know, one thing will be less expensive, next thing is a little bit higher than what you buy someplace else. You have to, I used to go to 2 or 3 different places to get the things I want, and sometimes you have to do that. A little bit tight here. If you really want a product and only one of the Metro or the SM or the Gaisano, one of those stores, only one of those stores will have one of the items you want, so you have to make that trip. You have to decide whether it's worth your time and money. It's going to cost you a taxi or a hobble or jeepney, something to get over there, and the time required. So often, where I could go to the public market and buy many of my fruits and vegetables cheaper, the convenience factor, if I'm in a mall and I can get most of what I want there, I pay the higher price, yes I do, but I don't have to make that additional trip down over to the market. And that was the, right to the left was the Country Mall, Gaisano Country Mall. A few restaurants in there, fast food places, Chinese restaurants, Filipino restaurants, And there is a condominium just over to the left here called Alicia. I went in there once and I thought I was taking a video, and my video was corrupted or something. I didn't get any good video, so I need to go back there one of these days. They have short stay. Not the cheapest in town, but for people who don't want to sign a contract, it might work out. And then we're going down here to, I believe this is Fortuna Street Avenue, whichever one they call it. I sometimes get confused between streets and avenues. They don't, in some cities in the U.S., streets run one direction. For instance, perhaps north and south. Avenues run east and west, or past a center point in town like Phoenix, Arizona. Avenues are to the west of Center Street, and streets are to the right. But then each suburb has their own setup, how they do it, and you'll start over. You'll hit a suburb, you'll have avenues again, then you'll have streets again. So it can get a little confusing if you don't understand that you've just crossed into a new city. Just on a side note, back behind Country Mall, kind of off to the side and behind Country Mall, is an old bowling alley, and it's functioning bowling alley, and there is an expat bowling club that meets there once a week, at least, and I went once, I went bowling, scored the highest score I ever scored, and I have not bowled in years and years and years. Call it beginner's luck or whatever it was. But the longer I bowl, usually that third game I bowl is usually the worst. I don't know, my hand gets tired or something, not sure. But it was interesting, and that club, if any of you are interested in a bowling club, and I don't remember, I think it was on Wednesdays they were meeting, and they may have had some personality issues or something. I think they've cleaned those issues up, or moderated them, let's say that. I'm not sure all the details there, but they at one time they had a very large crowd of bowlers there, and I think they've got a dozen or so regular bowlers there now. But if you don't want to bowl, you can go there just for the camaraderie as well. So it's a place to go and meet other Filipinos, other Americans, and other people from other countries, and I will, if anybody's interested, I will give the contact information out to the guy who kind of manages that. There are a number of other expat clubs in town as well, here in Cebu City, Manila, different cities. There is a running, jogging club. I'm told that many of the members walk. You can do anything you want. You can walk a course, you can run or jog or whatever, and they have stops along the way to pick up refreshments. And one guy was telling me that different people map out these routes, and there are places you'd never see these places. Some of them might be flat, some of them might be a little bit of a hilly distance. You can go as far as you want. And anyway, there again, once you get involved in one group, you'll start hearing about these different groups. And I think that running club, I think it originated in Britain with British Army soldiers, I believe. And I believe it's called Hash House Harriers. Hash House Harriers. And I've been invited along and been tempted to go along, but lost contact with the guy. He moved out of town up north a ways. And I just kind of haven't had the time anyway. I go out and do my own walks. I should do some jogging. I will be moving to a bigger place with a very nice large gym, and I think an area where you can even jog here just in a couple of days. And we'll see if I can get a little bit better in shape, and maybe I'll go off for a bit of a run at some point in time. But anyway, there are golfing clubs. I know this guy that moved out of town also had invited me along to golf a number of times, and I haven't golfed in years and years and years. And so if you're into golfing, they they have found a couple places that are much less expensive than your higher cost places here in town. So that's always an option. I think you can rent clubs as well. Not every expat, not every traveler, tourist will seek out foreigners from their own culture to mingle with. In fact, many of you will avoid other foreigners for a period of time. I did. I was just too busy with Philippine culture and learning about my way around Cebu City and the Philippines the first year and a half, and didn't really seek out that foreign, American or European, Australian. Even though I met a number of Australians, they're still my friends today. Met them several years ago. I rent from one of them. But there comes a point in time for many of us where we do long for, we do want that common culture, common language, and a common value system. So one way to find it is in these clubs. You can probably also find it, there's different expat communities, there's bars where different expats hang around. Churches, you might find some expats there, married or single. So it just depends on what you're looking for. I have walked this distance many times during the day and during the evening. Nobody's ever bothered me. This street, Hernan Cortez, gets a little narrow in many places, especially because, well, there's no sidewalk. And you're walking where the motorbikes and the bicycles and the tricycles, they want to use that space. But generally, if you are in the space, they give way. They'll stop and allow you to pass. But during rush hour, it can get a little iffy. It can get a little iffy. Anyway, thank you for coming along here. Bamboo Bay is just up around a couple of corners up here. Mandawi Foam Furniture Company just to the left there. And safe travels to you all. Please like the video, share the video, and please subscribe. And we'll see you next time.